For centuries, the Ottoman Empire stood as one of the most powerful forces in the world. It ruled over vast territories in the Middle East, North Africa, and Europe. But in the north, a new threat was slowly rising. A nation once considered weak and backward. That nation was Russia. In the early days, Russia was not seen as a major player. For much of its history, it was fragmented and under Mongol rule. But over time, things began to change. In the 15th century, the Grand Duchy of Moscow began uniting Russian lands. Ivan III, also known as Ivan the Great, ended Mongol control and laid the foundation for a centralized Russian state. Under Ivan IV, also known as Ivan the Terrible, Russia expanded rapidly. It conquered Kazan, Astrakhan, and reached the Caspian Sea. The rise of a strong Russian state worried many of its neighbors. But it wasn't until the 17th and especially the 18th century that Russia became a real threat to the Ottoman Empire. The transformation came with Peter the Great. He modernized Russia's military, built a strong navy, and founded the new capital city of St. Petersburg. He also looked to expand Russia's influence to the south and west. This meant coming into direct conflict with the Ottomans. The first major clash between the two empires came in the Russo-Turkish War of 1710 to 1711. Peter marched south, hoping to secure access to the Black Sea, but the Ottomans surrounded his army, forcing him to retreat. Still, this was only the beginning. In the decades that followed, Russia kept growing stronger. By the time Catherine the Great came to power in 1762, Russia was a major European power. Catherine had clear ambitions to expand Russian territory, especially toward the warm waters of the Black Sea. This brought her into repeated conflict with the Ottoman Empire. The Russo-Turkish War of 1768 to 1774 was a turning point. Russia won major victories on land and at sea. For the first time, the Russian Navy defeated the Ottomans in a large naval battle at Chesma. This shocked the world. In the Treaty of Küçük-Kaynarca, signed in 1774, the Ottomans had to give up important territories and allow Russia to protect Orthodox Christians in the empire. This gave Russia a reason to interfere in Ottoman affairs. The loss was humiliating for the Ottomans. It showed that they were no longer unbeatable. Worse, it revealed the weakness of the Ottoman military and administration. Meanwhile, Russia's confidence grew. Its leaders saw themselves as the defenders of Christianity and the rightful rulers of Eastern Europe and the Balkans. In the 19th century, the rivalry between the two empires continued. More wars were fought, each one weakening the Ottomans and strengthening the Russians. In the Russo-Turkish War of 1828 to 1829, Russia again invaded Ottoman lands, pushing deep into the Balkans and reaching the gates of Constantinople. The Crimean War in the 1850s was one of the few times the Ottomans, supported by Britain and France, were able to stop Russia. But even then, the message was clear. Russia was a growing power, and the Ottomans were struggling to keep up. By the late 19th century, Russia had gained massive influence over Eastern Europe, especially in the Balkans. Many Slavic peoples in the region saw Russia as their protector. This worried the Ottomans, who were losing control of their European territories. The rise of Russian power also inspired revolts. In places like Serbia, Bulgaria, and Greece, nationalist movements began to form. These groups often looked to Russia for support. The Ottomans found themselves surrounded not just by armies but by dangerous ideas: independence, nationalism, and rebellion. The 1877 to 1878 Russo-Turkish War was perhaps the most devastating for the Ottomans. Russia invaded again, and after a bloody campaign, the Ottomans were forced to sign the Treaty of San Stefano. This treaty gave Russia huge gains and freed several Balkan states from Ottoman rule. Although the treaty was later revised, the damage was done. The Ottomans had lost control over much of their European empire. By this point, the Ottoman Empire was no longer the powerful state it once was. Internally weak and externally threatened, it became known as the sick man of Europe. Russia, on the other hand, had become a dominant force in Eastern Europe and Asia. The long rivalry between the two empires reshaped the region. It created new countries, shifted borders, and changed the balance of power. It also set the stage for future conflicts, including World War I. In the end, the rise of Russian power was one of the main reasons for the decline of the Ottoman Empire. The two empires clashed again and again, not just over land, but over identity, religion, and influence. Russia's ambition combined with Ottoman weakness changed the course of history. What began as a distant threat became a constant danger, a force that shook the very foundations of Ottoman power.